The Countess, a verbatim play by Paul Kalburgi. Act 1.
Save our community cafe.
Save our community cafe. Save our community cafe. Save our community cafe.
Countess Romanov, can I get a picture of you with the
Save our
placard?
community cafe.
That's
Save our
lovely.
community cafe.
Louis, can I get you to jump in there too?
Save our community cafe.
Fantastic.
Save our community cafe. Save our community cafe.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Your second.
Helga Gladbaum, ex-Labour councillor for Harleston Ward, Brent. And John. She probably knew at that stage a little bit more about all of this, and Simon Lane obviously did, but the general public, including Pat and myself, we didn't. Not at that stage.
One time, she did come into Pavitt Hall.
Yes, that's right.
Pat Harrison, Labour councillor for Preston Ward, Brent. Things were getting hotter around the cafe. I remember this vision in yellow walked in, and you know, it was bright yellow she was wearing. She was sort of trying to convince MP Dawn Butler to support her.
Yeah. Oh, she was very good. She knew how to play people.
Save our community cafe. Save our community cafe.
Simon Lane, Head of Audit and Investigations, Brent Council. Do you want to...
Sure. Rachel Pinto, Benefit Investigation Officer.
So, June 2008, she was arrested, and the first hearing wasn't until January 2010. So a year of court delays.
The cafe was still running, wasn't it?
Yeah, because there was the whole Louis Theroux thing, wasn't there?
Louis Theroux? Yeah, he's involved. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, look, I mean, we all know Louis Theroux. He happens to live in Harleston.
He came on board saying, yeah, I'm going to back her up 100%.
And John,
OBE.
ex-leader, Brent Council. You know, some of these celebrities, like the celebrities that got involved in the libraries campaign, they don't know what they're talking about. But that's what gained currency. So these celebs that chime in like Zadie Smith and Philip Pullman. Well, Zadie Smith. I know she's made a lot of money writing books about Wilson and Harleston, and good bloody luck to her. But I mean, she lives in the United States now, so don't come back and tell us how to run our libraries. Bloody cheek.
But it exemplifies, doesn't it, that she was able to take in anybody that she wanted to. You know, she cultivated me because she thought I was important to her for whatever. Obviously, she cultivated him too.
We formed this protest group to fight the threatened closure of Roundwood Lodge Café.
The community had kind of got together and tried to support her.
Yeah, she tried to have this big campaign outside the Old Town Hall trying to say, you know...
Since 1996, local businesswoman Mariaska Romanov has developed and maintained this precious community resource. Now the council has refused to renew its lease.
She didn't mention the benefit fraud, did she?
No.
Well, the details of the amounts of money that were involved were not widely known about until it was clear that there was going to be a court case.
12 years ago, Miss Romanov took on a dilapidated building and has turned it into a haven for children, which she and her devoted staff keep open every day of the year.
She's really helpful. You've heard of her, yeah, Mariaska.
She's amazing. Without her, I don't know what we'd have done.
She doesn't ask for anything back. She's done so much for this local community.
We're trying to save it.
Save our community cafe.
It's quite difficult, you know. You've got the public not knowing the full story. You've got most of the council members not knowing the full story. Then you've got this community pressure coming on, and that filters through to the investigation team.
In an area plagued by gun violence, drugs and youth crime, this is one of the only areas safe for children to enjoy themselves.
Obviously, the community is up in arms about it. It looks like the big bad council has just come in and gone, we want the cafe back. But it wasn't like that at all.
The petition will be presented to Downing Street.
Cafe users will be invited to wear loyalty
A children's
wristbands.
petition is being created, with children doing painted handprints to express their support.
Local homes and businesses will be leafleted to raise awareness, and celebrities who live locally are being approached to add their support to the protest.
Would you like a loyalty wristband? And we've got one for
Yes,
the little
that's
girl
right,
as well.
petition. Yeah, we're going to take it to Downing Street.
Just to show your support.
We're really trying to get as much support as possible.
If we couldn't prove that the cafe was profitable, you know, because obviously she has to have an income to discount her from various benefits, we would have still pursued her for valid rent, because she had it on a peppercorn arrangement for so many years.
From a Labour group perspective, as a leader, it made us being involved with the cafe quite difficult once the council was taking action against her.
The committee aims to contact every Brent councillor individually in writing to make sure they are fully aware of this vital community facility.
Now that was quite difficult for some members of the Labour group who represented that particular area.
Save our community cafe! Save our community cafe!
What we knew was that the cafe was making money, and we wanted to impose a more realistic rent on it. That is really what it boils down to.
Save our community! Save our community cafe!
Commentary on local democracy and other matters in Brent by Councillor Derek Irons. New blog post. 2nd of November 2009. Congratulations to Dawn Butler, Labour MP for Brent South and soon Brent Central. I went to her coffee morning at the Hub in All Souls Church on Friday. She had to leave early to be told that she is now a Cabinet Office Minister. She becomes Minister for Young Citizens and Youth Engagement.
If Dawn can manage to engage our youth, she'll do well in the role. She should contact Mariaska, Anonymous.
Mariaska will have enough on her plate, dealing with Brent's immoral request for backdated rent, which will force the cafe to close. Anonymous.
The kids respect her because she works for them and pushes them to do more than exist. Anonymous.
Councillor Irons, what's happening at the CAF? Perhaps you could blog on that topic. Anonymous.
Are you Marianne Johnson?
Yes.
Thank you. Please sit down.
May it please Your Honour, I appear on behalf of the London Borough of Brent. My learned friend, Mr. Wells, appears on behalf of Miss Johnson. Your Honour, we have had so far a productive morning. The first matter I should deal with is that I have drafted a new, shorter indictment. We are down now to 25 counts. It has involved a number of rolled-up counts of other matters that were previously under separate counts. I would have had a copy for Your Honour, except that I, or my learned junior, have spotted a typo in one, so we are redoing that. But we will get a copy to Your Honour as soon as possible.
Yes, because my papers are in a terrible mess. They're just a huge heap of papers. They're not in files or anything like that.
Yes, I have some difficulty understanding the pagination and structure.
Right. Well, what I would like to do today is to at least select the jury. Yes. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Marshall.
Your Honour.
What is the position of bail as far as Miss Johnson is concerned?
She's been on unconditional bail throughout.
Unconditional? Well, I will extend that on the usual terms, yes. Can I just explain what I think is going to happen? We have now got a panel of something in the region of 40 or so potential jurors, some of whom have no idea what they are coming into court for, and going to be likely to be asked to be here for 6 weeks.
Members of the jury in waiting, please stand as called and step into the jury box.
Do you have any problems, sir?
I have an impending medical appointment within the next 4 weeks.
Is it likely to take a long time?
I sincerely hope not, but it is quite an important one.
Yes. Well, is it likely to be a day or a week?
A day, I would think.
I am sure we can accommodate that.
I'll have to speak to work and see what they say.
Well, us speaking to work will probably have more effect.
I've got an examination.
Yes, I'm doing a course.
I've got a small restaurant in Kent.
I have no issues.
No issues. Thank you very much, sir.
I have a pre-booked holiday on the 13th of March.
I have a holiday on the 24th of March.
Can I just say, my work, that's all.
I am due to have a knee operation.
Indeed.
I've I've just really started a new job, and if I stay longer than, I think 3 weeks, then I probably won't go back there.
Well, if they sacked you because you were sitting on a jury, they would be committing a serious criminal offence.
My husband's got a small business and I answer the phone.
Childcare issues.
I've also got animals at home, a couple of them sick, and one of them has been having epileptic fits this weekend. I'm in a bit of a quandary.
Yes, all right, thank you.
My husband's halfway through having chemotherapy for bladder cancer.
Oh, right.
My mum works for Brent Council.
Yes, well, you can stand aside, yes.
My partner, she's expecting in 12 weeks. As well as that, I work in Oxford, she lives in Surrey. I live in Oxford and I'm moving to hers on the 1st of April to Surrey.
We would hardly see you then, would we?
I can do 2 weeks, but...
The only problem I've got at the moment is this chest and sinus infection.
Oh dear. Well, I'm not sure we would want you in the court anyway. Members of the jury, if I was to sit here and just read out from beginning to end my notes, we would be here for the best part of a week. And I do not think it would help you in the slightest. So, I have tried to put the evidence together in chronological order, dealing with counts 1 to 25.
Hello, pussycat. Do you want to come in? Who's phoned me? 9437. Oh, that's Helga. No, I'll try Pat first. Pat is councillor for Preston Ward. Came on in 2010. Older person, former teacher. Thoroughly good egg. Skinny lady.
Strike through count 5. That should not be there. My fault. Count 5, of course, has gone, and you no longer need to consider it. So there is a lot there, members of the jury, but I hope you will see the real issues I'm about to highlight for you.
No, it doesn't sound like she's in. Let's see if we can get hold of Helga. They both went to every day of the trial. I try to keep out of everybody's way these days. It's easier.
The number you have dialed has not been recognised.
Get them on the email.
Please check and try.
Where did I put that tablet? Would you like a cup of tea? Come on, sweetheart. You want feeding, don't you?
Members of the jury, let me explain what I'm going to do.
Not only are they sweets, but they're the ones that are quite good for your throat. If you want to have it.
First of all, I'm going to deal with some general matters.
Indeed.
Gosh, they must be quiet.
What is the first and most important direction?
The first fundamental principle: the prosecution bring the charges.
It is known as the burden and the standard of proof. In this case, members of the jury, the prosecution must prove that the defendant is guilty. She does not have to prove her innocence.
So the burden is on the Crown.
Well, Pat and we went to quite a few of the hearings.
Yes, and it was very interesting. We were there out of interest, really.
Yes.
Because we'd known her.
We both knew her.
Yeah.
We both had time to go.
Yeah.
The second fundamental principle is this: how can you decide the Crown have proved their case?
And then, after we'd been there for the first bit, all these stories we'd been told, and then hearing what really happened. It all came out in the trial. So it was absolutely fascinating.
And it was curiosity.
It really gripped us.
If, after considering all the evidence, you are sure that the defendant is guilty, you must return a verdict of guilty. The old-fashioned way of putting it is to make you satisfied beyond all reasonable doubt.
If you are not sure, clearly your verdict must be one of not guilty.
I was one of those kids you're all scared of when you see them in hoodies. I took part in projects at the cafe, growing things and doing art and music.
The cafe's never just been about tea and sandwiches. For years, Mariaska has been working her magic on our lives. The lodge became a place where I could go and get a meal when there was none at home.
I say thanks to Miss Mary for her persistence with me and for never letting me fall between the cracks in life.
She introduced me to swallows and Amazons and a whole literary life I knew nothing about. Keats, Browning and Voltaire.
When we had troubles on Stonebridge and youths wanted to burn down the New Bridge Park complex, Mariaska stopped them from rioting. She has the trust of the youth. Anonymous, Stonebridge.
When other kids who lived in my circumstances were lost to crime and drugs, I escaped to a world of culture and imagination. Anonymous.
She is an inspiration. Anonymous.
Oh my goodness me! Swallows and Amazons? Bloody hell. Anyway, let's make this tea and then we can have a chat. I can't say I'm not a one to gossip because everybody gossips. But I'm not judgmental, and what people do in their private life is their affair as far as I'm concerned.
Members of the jury, let us now turn to the first chapter in relation to the Countess. Her relationship with Mr. Pizzolides. How she came to move into Kenneth Crescent with him sometime in 1995.
So, you know, the fact that she'd been married before to someone pretty wealthy, I did get to hear about. But I've no knowledge of it directly from her, of who she was married to. I just got to hear these things.
I was married to him, and we'd broken up in 91, or whatever, and he'd gone off to Cyprus. We were no longer lovers or living as a couple.
Also, when you're on an official occasion, conversation it's shallow. You don't sit around a dinner table chewing over your life story with one another. Will you have a biscuit? I'll bring the box.
If we have a look in Jury Bundle 1, please, members of the jury, you will see she puts herself down as single. Well, the prosecution say she certainly was not. She and her husband, Mr. Pizzolides, had gone through a ceremony.
It is not simply a question of were they having sex or something like that, were they cohabiting. It is a little different from that, is it not?
I put down I was single because I wasn't married to him and we weren't living together.
The prosecution say to you that if the true position had been known by the council, then she would not have been eligible for housing benefit or council tax benefit, as she was living as a couple.
I was homeless. He offered to let me have a room, as long as I paid rent.
Now, when she ticked the box single, that is a true reflection of the reality of the situation. I'm not with Pizzolides. I am renting a room from him. Put him down as the landlord. Now, if that is right, or if it might be right, then she is not guilty on the housing benefit frauds.
Now, what evidence is there? Well, Ms. Shelby Grant worked for the defendant as her housekeeper at Kenneth Crescent. So, when Miss Johnson says that she was a mere tenant in a bedsit, she actually had a housekeeper.
Costa was sleeping in the sitting room most of the time. Sometimes he'd be upstairs, but he was not sharing a bed with the defendant.
Miss Grant said usually he would fall asleep in front of the television.
I don't remember exactly when Costa left, but there had been a serious argument.
There was a big row between me and Costa at home.
I remember she was very upset about him leaving.
We had been in love, and there was still a friendship there, but he was involved with other women, and afterwards he didn't want to have anything more to do with me.
That made her become upset with me after he'd gone, and that's why I left.
And members of the jury, why become very upset, the prosecution would say, if your landlord leaves?
As I said at the beginning, you have to be sure that she was single, that they were in a relationship, that the whole thing was a scam.
And members of the jury, that is the evidence given by both sides as far as that chapter is concerned in relation to counts 1 and 2.
I can't bear the thought of the lodge without Miss Mariaska. Anonymous, Harlesden.
She is a total powerhouse of inspiration. Anonymous, Wembley.
Miss Mariaska introduced me to the pay it forward method that she lives by. Anonymous, Brent.
She inspires such loyalty in Brent. Anonymous, Kensal Green.
Oh, this is interesting. I must get my glasses out. What is it?
A whole conversation about Mariaska on Councillor Iron's blog.
I love the park. The cafe's wonderful, actually, and I understand any dogs who are thirsty, they give them water free of charge. Oh, ain't it lovely? I use the cafe myself sometimes too, especially in the hot weather. I like a nice cornet. Yes. I'm the kind of person who likes a lunch only twice a week. And I'm not a big drinker. Even when I go home, I like cider one day, cider another day. 2 days in a row, and the crows and everything. I'm a chicken eater, you see. And my girlfriend is a chicken eater. But one of the gardeners here is a vegetarian. I respect vegetarians, but I just can't seem to get on the ball. I'm going to try to cook it once a week, I think. Young John Hopcroft, one of the gardeners over there, he's a vegetarian. He said, "Well done, Robert." I have tried a lovely Iceland one 2 weeks ago, and it was beautiful, actually, beautiful. Because when I do invite John around, I want to make sure I know what he eats. My girlfriend, she's a chicken eater, and beef, anyway. So I'm basically on the ball. The birds and everything. Ain't it lovely? Did you want to start with any questions, or shall I start with how much I admire the park?
Apparently, it's a very lovely park.
It's the pride of Brent.
I am sure some, if not all of you, must know it.
It's a simple walk up here, 26 minutes from my home. I've been coming here for many years. Oh, for a long, long time. Since my mother, sadly gone now. Dad, sadly gone. I've got 3 lovely brothers still alive. Ain't it great? I wanted a little sister, but these things don't happen sometimes. But yes, they keep the park very well maintained. Very well maintained.
Actually, it used to win prizes because it was so stunning to look at. The formal gardens as you walk in, and then the nice walkway down.
Yes, I love the park. I love the guys. They're all my friends. There's many friends I know here by name. There's a guy who comes here called Stephen. He's got a lovely dog. Throws him the ball and everything. It's really a community. Oh, I just put the thumbs up to Morris. Hello, Morris. Hello, mate. Yeah, Morris.
You won't know this, of course, but I have a particular passion for the parks. So just bringing them up from the terrible state that parks up and down the country and in London were in the early 90s, actually contributing to that transformation, that was all part of the scene that, as council leader, I was really keen on.
Yes, it's a lovely place, my friend. Not everybody carries a knife and does this.
You want to check out the toilets over there? There's old ladies who come out the toilets and say, "There's somebody having sex in the one next door." Oh yeah, it's all going on here. There's a sign. Go and have a look. It says, "Mad, mad, this way."
Nowadays, it's much more difficult for councils to keep up these sort of flower beds like they used to with bedding plants and things like that. They've had to adapt, you know, for it to be continuous and affordable.
Well, that's all down to Mick, you see. Mick's a genius. He's unrecognised. His ability with horticulture is extraordinary. He really is a special gardener.
Mick was over there. Yeah, give him a shout. Yeah, Mick. He might be in his little, well, I call it a little chalet. He's got a place in there, a cabin. It's like a Hollywood chalet on the bowling green.
I don't know if he's any good for some gossip. He plays a mean guitar.
I can play a little bit of guitar, but it's for amusement only and for satisfaction sometimes. I'll play a bit of harmonica too. Trying to hate my friend again, Mr. John Lennon and Mr. Bob Dylan. Can't leave Mr. Bob Dylan out. or Neil Young.
See? Mad this way.
It's a lovely place, my friend. It's a lovely place. I'm going to have a walk around now anyway. But Mick was around. Give him a shout. Just shout at him. Shout, Mick!
Mick!
Shout, Mick!
Mick! Mick!
How do? Would you mind coming into the office, so to speak? Well, you sit yourself down. Make yourself comfy, so to speak. I make my own tea in here, like, you know. You got to live by your means, and by my means is living by what I bring in myself, like, you know. Although they're very good to me in the cafe. If I run out of something, like, they'll supply it, like, you know.
The cafe itself, it had been very much run down.
Well, when I first knew it, it was somewhere that sold semi-cold tea and curled-up sandwiches.
It used to be an Italian guy look after it, and it used to be a bit rough and ready, you know. What they did, it was just basic stuff, like.
Very basic.
But that was not uncommon. I mean, cafes in parks are quite unusual. You get them in bigger parks, but you certainly didn't get them in Roundwood and Gladstone.
In 1996, the cafe had not been functioning for something like 2 years. Ms. Johnson makes an agreement that she will do up the cafe and try and run it properly as long as it's on a peppercorn rent. Why? Because she is going to have to put money into it.
You know, she was doing a good job for part of the council that I don't know what name to use. I always use Mariaska because that was what she presented to us as. Countess Mariaska Romanov. That was the name that most people knew her by.
Well, we all used to call her the Countess here in the park, like, you know. She was the Countess, like. That was supposed to be her title kind of thing, you know.
One of the conditions of the lease was that she refurbished the property.
So she takes out a personal loan, sticks it in the business, and she is repaying it as a personal loan.
I mean, all the fencing you see around the cafe there, she pushed for all that, like.
Of course, Mariaska will take the credit for that. But actually, that used to annoy me a bit because it was the park service that was shelling out the money for that.
We had one time before they put the fencing up, she had a spare to break it ins, like, kind of thing. And there was one particular time where some kids, and they were throwing stones at the windows, and she just went straight out there and confronted them and made them run away, kind of thing. That's the kind of character she was. She weren't going to stand no shit, so to speak, like. You know what I mean?
A telling detail of her passion for the cafe was one of the ways she paid the builder. She gave him her car. Her BMW car. Well, this must be true, because it is too bizarre to make up.
She wanted security of tenure if she was going to put a lot of investment. So a new lease was negotiated, and after 3 years, if it was successful, the rent would go up to full market value of 10% of takings. Not the profit, but the takings.
She introduced something a bit different to the menu, like, you know.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely. And she put up paintings from local artists.
She ran a good business and everyone had a good time. And the food was good.
She built a real community. It was a thriving place.
I was a big supporter. This is great, you know. We were beginning to use it much more as a council. We held events down there, bonfire nights. We'd all go in there and have something nice, a bite to eat. Some pumpkin soup or whatever.
She built herself up as a community leader.
The defendant also said to you that she had served on over 30 committees.
The Black Mental Health Trust.
The Afro-Caribbean People's Organisation.
The Chalk Hill After School Leaving Group.
The Black Single People's Organisation.
Yes, she was on a lot of committees and she was very proud of that.
Fingers in a lot of pies.
Oh, she put herself around.
And she was on the Sure Start, of course, which kept meeting and meeting and meeting.
I started receiving emails from her. They were not emails addressed to me, but they were emails addressed to other people on the Sure Start program. But she kept copying me in order to show, look, I'm copying in the chair of education, etc.
I think with her, she whoever she came across, she'd use them for her own benefit.
I realised what was going on.
You have heard from a number of prosecution witnesses really saying good things about her.
She obviously did some good work in the community, and that's great.
Shame she didn't just stick to doing good work, really.
One thing Mariaska always said, she should run against Anne John because she was so popular she would win.
She had a lot to say on most occasions.
She gives so much of her
I mean,
time
the support she had was fantastic.
I embraced her with great enthusiasm whenever I saw her.
She was like untouchable.
Yeah, she's amazing.
If the council didn't like her, they wouldn't have done the fencing for her, would they? You know what I mean?
She's such a lovely lady.
But I knew, however she was presenting to me, she was not the Countess Mariaska Romanov. I knew that for certain. Is it getting a bit cold in here? I'll just put the heating on.
There's a little piece of heaven waiting for Mariaska.
Who amongst us would have the strength to fight the council on keeping the lodge for us, and on those awful scandal-making allegations against her? Has anyone seen her in the newspapers attacking Brent? Melissa Wright, social worker.
Stuart Brand, finance assessment officer.
Alyssa Price, support housing officer.
The radiators are on now. My boiler is working, but the control system isn't right. I've had to put hot water on and kick in the immersion.
Sensitive to light, back injuries, post-traumatic stress disorder, spends most of her time indoors, rarely goes out, has not seen her GP for some time. There is nothing else that can be done for her. She's unable to walk, no lower body movement. She requires turning 3 times a day and twice at night to prevent skin breakdowns, etc., etc. Financial difficulties too. She's unable to buy food for herself. She lives on fruit and water.
Can I interest you in a glass of red wine? I know you're driving. It'll be okay to have a small one. I've got a bottle. I bought some Malbec today.
When I arrived, she was in bed. The window blinds were shaded, and she had something around her head, and she had cream on her face. She said that she was not at all well, and I said, I'll come back another day, but she lightened up and said that she was okay. She offered me refreshment, and we finished the financial assessment. It was a stunning flat, and I was really taken aback, as it was quite beautiful. And I said it was beautiful to her. And she said that her sister had done it all for her. Everything looked very expensive.
He said, you have no idea. You go in, and there are icons all over the place.
This is a co-op Malbec. It's quite cheap. I went to Argentina a couple of years ago, and I got the taste for Malbec there. It's very cheap. I like the co-op anyway. Cheers.
I was always let in by a carer. She couldn't stand the light and she always had a scarf on her head, and sometimes she was wearing glasses. The visits would last about 30 to 45 minutes, and she was always in bed, so I wasn't able to assess her mobility.
This is the old label. When I looked, it's the same stuff, but they've redesigned the label. It's a big, colourful label now. It's $5.49, which is okay, isn't it?
Well, we didn't know she had a sister until we went to the trial, did we?
No.
She said her sister did everything for her, as she was unable to do anything herself, and that her sister was her twin sister.
Well, Miss Johnson said that she never said that. She never would have said that. So, members of the jury, if you look at jury bundle 4, you'll see that on the very same day as Stuart Brand's visit, there are 2 purchases from Asda stores, and activity the day before and the day after, filling up with petrol.
She said that she fears going outdoors.
At that November 2006 meeting, Melissa Wright asked the defendant, "Where's your wheelchair?" And she was told it had gone in for repairs.
My understanding was that she was hardly ever able to get out of the premises.
One can see just a couple of days before and a little afterwards there are trips to Curry's buying electrical goods. The defence say, well, Miss Wright has just got this wrong.
What was she doing going out if she needs care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? I mean, a paraplegic?
We did request her GP report, but there was no reply from them. She told me that receptionists were either rude, or she didn't have the proper identity, or didn't have a current passport, and therefore she wasn't able to become a patient at any GPs.
I mean, she's supposed to be disabled from the torso down.
She explained that between 1992 and 2001, she only went out about 10 times. And she said the only family member she has is her twin sister.
Well, Ms. Johnson agrees that that is just nonsense. She went out many more times than 10 times, and she has not got a twin sister. So that is an important issue for you, members of the jury. Did she say that, or has Miss Melissa Wright been completely incompetent?
I received a nomination form in 2002, and we arranged for a tenancy for this specially built property. My role was to make sure she had everything she needed.
Miss Price said it was difficult to get into the house sometimes, as appointments had to be made, and were quite often cancelled.
She always cancelled by phone. I visited her 3 to 4 times between 2003 and 2006, and whenever I went, she was in bed each time, and I would sit opposite and conduct the visit.
Well, members of the jury, is it just a coincidence whenever people went round to assess her, it happened to be an off day? The defence say yes, this was one of the features of her illness. Sometimes she was good, and sometimes it was bad. She just happened to be bad for these visits.
She said to me she had a twin sister. Whenever there were any maintenance issues, the sister dealt with them. Whenever we had contractors in, we had to let the defendant know in advance so she could arrange to stay somewhere else. She told me that on one occasion she had actually hospitalised herself while things were being done to her house. I went to inspect the kitchen and the sister was there, and she actually gave me access to the property and she introduced herself. I was told that she was an identical sister, but I had only ever seen the defendant with a headscarf lying in bed in the dark, so I couldn't really tell whether she was identical or not.
She had put cream all over her face. Yeah. Sort of dotted all over the face. So it was darkish in the room. She made herself unrecognizable.
She didn't say she was her cousin or anything. It was her twin sister.
Members of the jury, there you are. Again the issue. Did Miss Johnson say this to these witnesses, or did she not? And who was it that these witnesses met? The prosecution say this was Miss Johnson, who was fit and well at the time.
It's as simple as that, really. She claimed to be paraplegic, needing 24-hour care, 7 days a week. And whether she was ever that is questionable. It was a calculated attempt to defraud the system.
Yeah.
So, in count 16, she attempted to obtain, in July 2004, a disabled person's blue badge by stating that she was paraplegic and used a wheelchair or crutches on a permanent basis, when in fact that was not the case.
Oh yeah, she also tried to get a disabled space outside of her house.
That's right. In fact, she was trying to get that when we started the inquiry and we got them to stop putting that in.
Count 20. Between November 1995 and June 2007, she obtained disability living allowance by stating that her mobility was totally restricted and severely disabled. Count 21. Between July 1996 and December 1997, she obtained housing benefit and council tax benefit by stating that her only source of income was state benefits, when in fact she had income from other sources. For example, Roundwood café. Now, moving on to the area of evidence in relation to counts 24 and 25, the direct payments. What is the evidence here?
She was assessed by social services and she tells them what her care needs are. She said 24/7. I can't cook for myself. I need turning in the night because I can't move myself in bed. So I have to have a night carer who turns me over to stop me getting bed sores. So really, a severely disabled person, I think from memory it was about £400 to £450 a week we were paying her.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money. There's about 300 or 400 people getting these direct payments in Brent at the moment.
The system is set up to allow genuinely disabled people to be able to control their own lives and their own carers. It is set up to try and make life easier for the disabled.
But we require you to have a single bank account for that, so we'd pay you and then you make the payments to your carers out of that.
A timesheet had to be filled in and then checked and signed by the claimant and the carer.
We'd ask for returns periodically, every year, I think. How have you spent your money? And she would say, oh, this cheque had gone to Joe Smith, who's done my care for me that week. And of course, faced with that, it looks like she's got a proper system going where she is paying for carers.
If we turn back to bundle 1, please, and open it at page 328, this is the letter that really is the subject of count 25. And this is a letter which was written by Miss Johnson to Brent, purporting to show that these cheques were paid out to the carers.
That was quite a good hit when we got the cheques back from the bank. Those cheques were actually in her other name, so she was getting direct payments under Marianne Johnson, but she was writing cheques out to Mariaska Romanov.
Couple of thousand here, couple of thousand there. There was a cheque to American Express to pay off her credit card.
Well, as far as she is concerned, what she was doing was not dishonest, because she used to pay the carers cash.
And members of the jury, you might think it is obvious that the carers, who are low paid, would on the whole want to be paid in cash.
Ms. Shelby Grant, for example, was getting £200 a week cash.
I would balance up the payments due and I would give Miss Grant extra money, or help her by paying off her credit card bill.
As far as she was concerned, it was all perfectly proper. Miss Grant was asked about the credit card. She said she did run up a bill for £1,000 and the defendant did pay it off.
But I paid her back. It wasn't part of my wages. She made me pay it back.
Miss Grant described to me that her role was to make cups of tea and, do the washing, massage her feet, just generally anything. But as far as she was concerned, there was nothing wrong with her.
A cleaner, effectively.
Yeah.
Members of the jury, there is a second witness in relation to this area. Bernice O'Brien worked as a cleaner for 6 months or so in February 2005. I'm looking at page 318 in the same bundle. A timesheet, which is hers.
This is my signature, but I don't remember signing a blank form. £7 an hour, that's what I was supposed to be paid, but I was only ever paid £6 an hour, never £7 or £8. She never gave me a pay slip.
As far as she was concerned, she never worked at night, and she never slept over. She was asked to look at Sundays, which have her marked down as working.
I didn't work Sundays.
She was asked to look at the handwritten, on the right-hand side, holiday pay due for a period of 1 week.
I was never paid holiday pay.
And so she complained, she said, to the defendant about the fact that she had been put down as working for Sundays.
She said to me she paid all my taxes. Don't you trust me? And I said, well, I do trust you. So I did sign, and I trusted her a lot, I suppose. I did ask what it meant by £336 when I was only getting £200, and she said she was paying a lot of tax for me.
It doesn't matter. The names are far too complicated. If I try to sort out on this form that on a particular day I have, say, Penny from 8 till 9, and then from 9 till 1 I have, say, Miss Grant, and then from 2 till 3 I have somebody else. It's far too complicated to do all that. I just claim for 6 hours, and I'll distribute it amongst people pro rata.
Well, if that is what was going on, or if you think that might be going on, again, there is nothing dishonest about that, surely.
Well, the prosecution do not accept that.
Members of the jury, I suggest that you look at the central questions in this case, which is the question of the relationship between Marianne Johnson and Mariaska Romanov, the two identities.
Indeed. The application for another national insurance number.
There was a story that she'd applied for a national insurance number in the name of Mariaska Romanov, saying that she hadn't been in the UK for a number of years.
That's right. We found those documents, didn't we?
Yeah, so obviously, seeing that, we thought, crikey, maybe there is a twin.
The prosecution case on that is the defendant was seeking to establish the Countess as a separate entity. There was a Marianne Johnson who was a paraplegic. who was in bed whilst receiving maximum state benefits. Then there was the Countess, who was running the café. Miss Johnson said that that is nonsense. As far as she was concerned, it was a completely innocent application, which she thought she was perfectly entitled to, and you should not take anything against her for that.
If you look at it, there isn't any sort of detailed plot or plan, because the lease of the cafe was signed by Marianne Johnson in December 1998. Later on, she becomes Mariaska Romanov, and she is signing papers there. All anybody at Brent had to do was pick up the lease. So it is not a secret. It is not a plot or a plan. There's no separation of the identities. Otherwise, Marianne Johnson's name would never have appeared on the lease. Instead, it would have been Mariaska Romanov or Sybil Faulty. It doesn't sound, does it, like a sophisticated plan to fool Brent Council?
I have been shocked by Brent's total attack on Mariaska. They have demonised her.
We in Brent know when the dirty squad get going.
Mariaska opened that cafe in a wheelchair and has suffered with pain and injury for nearly 20 years. She just gets on with it and is amazing.
Mother Teresa would be unsafe under these Liberals. Anonymous, Brent.
Dawn, please help rally around Mariaska and fight this awful slur on her character. Anonymous, Harlesden.
Remember the name of this woman. About her was woven one of the world's most fabulous conspiracies.
Members of the jury, if she is trying to defraud Brent, would she really be the prominent, loud, and one would think noisy citizen who is active in Brent and who everybody knows her very name?
We all used to call her the Countess here in the park, like, you know.
Mariaska Romanov.
The Countess Mariaska Romanov. She was known as the Countess.
She was the Countess, like.
Miss
Mariaska.
She claimed to be part of the Russian royal family.
That was supposed to be her title kind of thing.
Mariaska.
Countess Romanov.
Mariaska.
Countess Mariaska Romanov.
If you are going to run a benefit fraud in Brent, the name Countess Mariaska Romanov.
I used to hear stories about people asking her, "Why are you called Countess Mariaska Romanov?" And she would say she'd married a count and she'd kept the name.
Countess Mariaska. She had a loose relationship with the truth. Imposter! I was talking to the girls in the salon again that her and I went to. She talked about the fact that she had servants. I mean, her behaviour in there. She was very imperious with them. She would just hold out her hand with a plate on for it to be taken from her.
Besides all the outlandish stories, she was just extremely pushy.
Because she'd given them all the impression that she'd come from this great wealth and this huge tradition, that she was the Countess. So, she used to sit in the hairdresser's chair, they'd run and fetch for her, sandwiches from a local cafe and things like that.
It's inflation of her self-importance.
Oh yeah, she played the role.
Delusions of grandeur.
She is a noisy, prominent presence across the borough.
She's a force of nature.
Which is hardly somebody who is engaging in some sort of secret subterfuge.
I was in the cafe with a friend, and we sat down there at the table. I said, "Look over there. This is Countess Mariaska Romanov." And she always zoomed in on me. She obviously thought I was a very important person for her purpose. And she came up and said, "Hello, how are you, Councillor?" But my friend, she said to her, "Do you speak Russian?" I mean, maybe a naive question, but on the other hand, maybe not. And Mariaska said, "No, we always spoke French at court."
So that knackered anyone who couldn't speak French or Russian, didn't it?
She was Russian, They did that at the Russian court.
She was a bloody liar.
Absolutely.
Countess Mariaska Romanov. She wanted to keep that name. That was a name that impressed a lot of people.
The other thing she told the girls in the salon is that she was a descendant of Anastasia. She was this beautiful young woman. She was bumped off, wasn't she? Along with the rest of them. There's a very good film with Ingrid Bergman about that.
Here is Ingrid Bergman as the woman called Anastasia, a stranger even to herself.
Whoever I am, I want to be me. I want someone to tell me, someone to accept me.
So she can't. If you know anything about history, you'd know. They knew she couldn't possibly be a descendant of Anastasia.
These were the fantasy stories we heard.
It chimes, doesn't it?
The Countess Mariaska Romanov. I mean, come on.
If you have any decency, end this charade at once.
The Romanovs? Russian?
Countess Romanov!
I don't think so, do you?
Members of the jury, I have no idea how many countesses, let alone with a Russian name, there are in Brent. I suspect this is the only one. And it might be, therefore, the Crown are simply wrong in the way in which they advance this central proposition.
When she was in court, she was a very towering presence.
Oh, she was supremely confident. Yes, would you agree?
Yes, I would agree. She was a very... it was the way she looked at people, the witnesses.
Yes.
As if they said something that didn't support her version of what had happened, yeah.
I remember sitting in the courtroom waiting to be called as a witness. And, she was this imposing presence. It was like she was in a play, Here I am, in all my wonderfulness.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, the game was up. But there she was, Here I am.
So, dealing now with the allegation of false accounting.
So, in parallel to the criminal investigation that Rachel was doing, we had a financial investigator for something called the Proceeds of Crime Act.
Well, we found out in the trial about the money, didn't we? Going to Nepal.
Yes, the money to Nepal. They got hold of some of the accounts, but not all of them. And they knew that money had gone to Nepal.
Yes.
Well, she says that was collections for various people. Nothing to do with her.
Another hidden asset, for example. Payment of $8,300 to the Himalayan Bank.
She had stashed away considerable amounts.
We needed to identify whether that was her shifting money around and hiding it in an account abroad. She failed to provide any explanation, so the court would just assume that was a hidden asset.
So did she have an income above benefits?
Well, she was the owner of the café, so she was funding that lifestyle through the money that was coming in.
Can I suggest that really the issue or the problem is quite simple? What has really happened is this. The bank accounts and credit card receipts are in chaos. There is no proper division between what is personal and what is to do with Roundwood Lodge and to do with carers. It is all muddled up and mixed up.
I mean, nobody was really able to make head nor tail of where the money had gone.
No.
What is really happening here is robbing Peter to pay Paul, grabbing money from one account to deal with a particular problem here, and then splashing it across to another account.
Well, looking at her personal expenditure now, and Mr. Lane has set out the sort of spending that seemed to be going on in her accounts.
I don't really know where to start. There's so much. Right, so just in terms of credit card spends for 2007, American Express, £38,000. Then there was another £9,000 on other credit cards for that year. The type of places that were listed on her bank statements would be Pringle, Fenwick, Selfridges.
Oh, yes, she loved her shopping.
Army and Navy.
Austin Reed, Valley, Benetton, Carvella.
Christian Dior, Donna Karan.
Jago.
Hume, Envy,
Salvatore
Evidence.
Ferragamo.
Karen Millen.
French Connection.
LK
Gap.
Bennett.
Hugo
Nine
Boss.
West Office.
Topshop.
Russell Bromwell.
Sunglasses.
Oh, yes, she loved her shopping. She loved her shopping.
Harrods, Harvey Nichols, habitual spending in all these places over a number of years.
Oh, yes, she loved her shopping.
Yes.
Expensive shopping.
I guess all the places that people with cash go.
Oh, she was smartly turned out like. Mind, I'm not surprised. The money she were making.
She said that she had lived in New York when married to Mr. Frankland, and she said she had been involved in modelling for 30 years.
I did hear that. She did claim to be a model. Actually, she has contacted me since, asking me to be her friend on Facebook or LinkedIn. Ah, here we go. Oh, God. Yes, that's her. Good God. Yes, her big bazookas. Mariaska Romanov. My old modelling picture for Versace. Yeah, like I believe in that.
Well, she was slightly slimmer then, that's for sure.
Gosh, just see her face there. Because actually, you lose the clarity of people's faces when you haven't seen them in a while. She does look bloody good, though. I have to say that, don't you think?
Yes, but she looks very different now.
That's time, innit? Happens to us all.
She always dressed in outlandish clothes with heels this high.
Go on, Pat. You have a few stories to tell.
Not too many, no.
I was talking to the girls in the salon at the top of the road that her and I went to, because I had my hair done yesterday. In fact, I did make a note of some of the things in my notebook.
Well, I mean the mink coats.
Oh, yes, she liked the odd mink coat.
And the fox fur that she came in wearing, you know, swinging that around. It was a real one, with head and eyes and everything else. And the owner of the shop was quite cross with her. Oh, she said, I'm not touching it. But it was being swung around, so it was all terribly obvious.
She had one of her mink coats stolen from the Russell Hotel in Russell Square when she was at a conference.
Oh, yes, she did.
Lots of spends on fashion and beauty. So at the hairdressers in 2007, £570. The nail shop, £440. And then there were the restaurants over the years. Gordon Ramsay at Connaught, Le Méridien, Piccadilly, Ronnie Scott, Smolensky's Savoy Grill. I mean, you would see that. You'd say that was normal, but not for someone who claims to be a paraplegic on benefits.
In 2003-2004, her benefits were around about £11,000 or £12,000, but she had spent on travel alone over £14,000. As one goes through the years, the expenditure, personal expenditure, really just prior to her arrest, Mr. Lane estimates she spent something like £57,000 on personal spending and a further £14,000 on travel.
I told you about the world passport, did I?
There is a list here of foreign travel too, which might be interesting.
The girls mentioned her having, and she did show them this document, something called a world passport.
Yeah, so identified from her bank accounts were payments abroad, September 06, Bratislava, July 05, Aydin, which I think is Turkey.
Now, as far as I understand, international legal travel arrangements, you have to be a national of some country in order to obtain a passport that gives you permission to travel. But she had this document which she showed them, which said world passport on it. The intonation being, I am of such, you know, royal personage, that this is what I have to have.
October 05, Piestany, which I think is Czechoslovakia. 2004, February, France. 2003, Piestany. 2003, Bratislava. 2003, Anatolia, Turkey. 2002, Piestany again. 2002, Anatolia, Turkey.
And the Louis Vuitton stuff, I think, is quite interesting. The idea that she had this very expensive luggage, which every time she went somewhere, she had to send back to Italy to be cleaned and then relined. It's a load of nonsense, really, isn't it? I thought it was a load of nonsense.
So lots of trips and lots of expenditure abroad.
Oh, she certainly got around for a paraplegic, like, you know what I mean?
In the same year, a life policy and a pension she'd put £1,700 into. Department stores, £5,700. Clothing stores, £2,900. She said to you that a lot of the spending was for the café. Apparently, she bought aprons and safety shoes. Ms. Marshall, for the prosecution, said,
How many aprons does this cafe need?
Then there were Todd's, the handbag shop.
Lots of handbags.
Lots of handbags.
You've never seen a wardrobe full of handbags. 2 rows just full of handbags. Burberry, Prada, the works. And I was just sitting there thinking, I couldn't afford one of those bags. All genuine.
She said she would borrow, say, for example, £20,000. She would then immediately put £5,000 away of that £20,000 so she could service the debt. And then the banks would look and say, she's a good debtor. She's a good person to lend money to.
Well, until September of 2008 and the crash of Lehman Brothers, you may remember it was not exactly difficult for people to borrow money. Reckless lending by the banks. It may also be reckless borrowing, but again, it is not a criminal offence. So if she gives money to the cafe, then she takes some of it back. The fact is, there is no way of disentangling it.
Members of the jury, there is no doubt that she and her staff worked hard to make a success of the cafe. However, it never appeared to make any money. According to her, it made loss after loss each year, which she had to subsidise by borrowing money from banks and pawning her jewellery. Well, the prosecution say that this is absolutely clear. She was taking a large amount of money out of the cafe and spending it on a very luxurious lifestyle.
That's absolute nonsense. I was never taking any money, and the money I was taking was backed by loans and pawning my jewellery, and the cafe owed me the money I was putting it into.
Of course, there are not any proper records. Mr. Lane trying to make sense of all this. I suggested to him that he cannot have got it all right. There must be all sorts of problems and so on.
Rather crucially, Mr. Lane also discovered that the total income being banked did not match the figures declared by her accountants.
So in terms of the takings for the day, there'd be a till receipt, a recording of the takings in her diary, which might be £550, but she would deflate those by the 100 amount, and it would be £50.
He suspected the cash was being siphoned off by somebody. And who else other than the defendant?
The diary showed all the money she was siphoning.
For example, if we look at Tuesday the 15th of August, the accountants were told that the takings that day were £245. And yet the true figure, which we see, is £745. So exactly £500 had gone missing. If one looks at the 1st of April, the diary shows £1,380.90, but the accountants were told only £480.90. So exactly £900 has been understated. I will not take you through any more examples of that, but that is what Mr. Lane did, and he said that this happened time and time again.
It was a conscious effort that she made to understate her earnings, thereby not having to pay any tax on it and not having to pay a proper rent.
She explained to you that she was able to continue running the cafe by pawning some of her jewellery. And of the 11 pawn receipts that have been produced, only 4 were in the claim period, totalling something in the region of £9,400.
The important matter is this. If she borrowed money and put it into the cafe, then she is owed money by the cafe. That must be right, must it not?
She was hiving stuff off for herself.
From the forensic analysis of her computer, we could see what she was doing. She would basically drop the £100 digit off. So if the takings were £330.50, the taking would be £30.50. That would tend to be the system she was using. So she would understate in the hundreds each day.
The prosecution say that this shows that she was taking a substantial income from the cafe, which, had they known about, she would never have been entitled to income support. You can see from the years 1996-97, her benefits amounted to £8,471.50. And in the 3 bank accounts that Mr. Lane was able to look at, the income going into her bank accounts, in excess of her benefits, was £51,000. If one follows on through 2001, 2002, that goes up to just short of £190,000 income in excess of her benefits. And in 2002-2003, 117,000.
There is an absolute lack of records here. It is a world of utter confusion.
Does this spending pattern disclose the lifestyle of a bed-bound paraplegic or a wealthy woman enjoying a high standard of living? It is a matter entirely for you.
To convict, you have to be sure that what she was doing was taking an income deliberately, consciously from the café. I suggest that this really is a shambles, muddle, chaos, not dishonesty. Even if she broke the rules on some of the forms, it is not dishonest, not if she thinks that she really is owed the money.
You will decide whether something is dishonest by the standards of ordinary, decent people.
Mariaska got me shoes when my mother couldn't afford them.
If a reality check is needed in Brent, this is it. When a woman like Mrs. Mary can be so badly treated, it tells us all it is time to get rid of these idiot liberals.
How many people would promise payment on a stranger's kid's shoes? This lady did. Anonymous, Brent.
In Brent, we have few things that we can be proud of. Miss Mary is one of them. If we can't save the cafe, and we can't save Miss Mary from the clutches of the evil empire that is Brent, we deserve to lose our homes too.
Keats,
Browning, Voltaire, Anonymous, Brent.
My word, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? I'm really looking forward to it.
I always assumed I was older than Mariaska, and I am. But at one point in the nail shop, she got to be older than me. I think she was boasting about how good she looked. So she was trying to make a point, saying she was older than she actually was. I said to all the girls in there, that's rubbish.
Yes, she did that with me too.
We're talking early 2000s, so I would have been nearly 65, and she claimed to be 64 or something. So it's ludicrous.
When she was governor, she said she was the same age as me. I said, well, you've worn incredibly well. And she also had the Botox, didn't she?
Yes.
That was the first time I knew about Botox. I didn't know there was such a thing, and she was always recommending it.
She treated us like sort of confidants, didn't she?
Oh, yes. Well, she liked telling us about her life. She used to say that she was right at the cutting edge of technology. And she loved walking around at the governor's meeting, talking on her phone.
Oh, the glowing Ofsted reports. She was chair of the Board of Governors, of course.
Great Oaks Primary School inspection, April 2004.
Here's some little munchy things.
Countess Mariaska Romanov, the recently...
I don't think the black olives are particularly wonderful. I mean, it's a new jar I've just opened, but they seem a bit soft.
At the heart of the school's work.
I've still got some of that Malbec, if you want a glass.
She is a very effective leader, driving the school forward after...
Anyway, if you don't like them, just leave them and I'll put them into something that I cook.
...for ensuring the school fully meets the needs of the community, and she has exceptional links to make this happen. She has worked for the benefit of the local community for many years and has played a key role in the government initiative of Sure Start.
That's great, but if you've nicked 200,000 quid, then the press are going to talk about that before how well you did as a school governor. I can't get warm in here. Are you cold? I'll check the settings again.
Court is in session.
Not at all. Just shows you, doesn't it? You never know what's going on.
Members of the jury, at this point, I want to remind you of an important piece of evidence from Stuart Brand, the Financial Assessment Officer.
After that first visit, I next saw her as she was passing the road near where I live. It was a few weeks later. I thought it must have been her twin sister. I think she had a little dog in her hand. But she'd gone past, so I didn't have time to ask her if she had a sister who was unwell. Later, I went to the Roundwood café and saw the person who I thought was the twin sister. But I was sure the person I'd seen on the road was the same person who ran the café.
He became suspicious and then spoke to his manager.
It was an anonymous referral that came through to us.
How come she's claiming disability if she's running that cafe in the park? There's nothing wrong with her.
We have a hotline, so someone just phoned through with information saying,
I've seen her in the cafe in Roundwood Park.
That she has numerous names that she was using, she had aliases, and that she was running a cafe at Roundwood Park.
Roundwood Lodge, that's it.
And also claiming disability benefits under the name of Johnson.
This needs looking into. It's not right.
And that's where it sort of spiralled from.
Yeah.
And then we contacted...
Parks.
The Park Services.
Hello, Parks.
They told us she'd not been paying rent for years and that they always knew her as a Romanov.
Now, I was very friendly with John Bowers from the Park Department, and he'd been supportive of Mariaska. He wanted that cafe to work.
Was there a twin sister? That was what I had to disprove, and so that was our first sort of inquiries.
I know she goes by different names.
Who is she?
So John got to know. Then some of his staff said, hang on a minute, there's something odd about this woman.
So we had the Johnson name and the Romanov name, didn't we, to start with?
Yeah, there was also the surname that she used for her marriage, Pizzolidis' name. These were the three names that we used to run all the checks initially. The hardest part was proving that she didn't have a twin sister, because when we contacted the housing association who had housed her, they said,
We've seen her twin sister.
So everyone was like,
Where's this twin sister?
You know, I've got to find this twin sister, because if that's the case, then we haven't got a case.
Well, with all the name changes, we had to work backwards.
Yeah, all the way back. We actually got the information from the passport office. Every time she changed her name, she would get a new passport, and they had all the records.
Yes, all the myriad of names. That all came out in court.
Countess Mariaska Romanov.
Countess Romanov.
Marianne Johnson.
Who is she?
Harley Pizzolidis.
Marianne Johnson.
Harley Jones.
Who is she?
Nina Franklin.
Nina Hull.
Nina Najib bint Hamza II.
Bobby Duxbury.
Born 28th of November 1960.
Robert Duxbury.
End of Act 1.